As a former finance minister, do you think that the U.S. is going to come out of this financial crisis with a stronger regulatory system?
That's, again, one of the issues that is very much front and center in Washington. Again, it's a little bit like that mercury at the bottom of a glass. There are different points of view, different things that people feel strongly about, other things they feel less strongly about. But it seems to have been difficult to get the consensus. This is a much more complex financial system in the United States relative to Canada. We've got 5 major national banks. We don't have a lot of regional community banks. We have 1 regional bank that in Quebec that reaches into other parts of the country. So it's quite compact. We have basically 3 large insurance companies, some smaller ones, but not nearly the same extent as you have here. That's because of your size, geographic and size of the economy. You have opportunities to develop these banks. But there are some things that we have been able to do there by having the regulatory, the organizations, institutions responsible for regulation. We can get them around a pretty small table, 5 people. And when you have 5 people around a table, you can identify problems more quickly. Each has their own mandate. So there isn't the competition in Canada for jurisdiction that you have in some instances in this country. So there are differences, and you're going to have these differences. You just have to find whatever is the appropriate way that works for you.
What about the deficit load that the United States is carrying? What's going to be the long-term impact of that?
Well, this is a concern. When I came into office as the finance minister in 1984, our deficit as a percent of our total economy was 8.6%. I have that number written right across my forehead. You're up in the 12 to 13% range. So it's a bigger challenge, and it was a tough challenge for us. We got it down while I was finance minister to a little over 3%, but then we had a recession, and then took another, 5 years, 6 years before the next finance minister was able to do, basically to finish the job. But we had 10 or 11 years, straight years of budgetary surpluses or deficits that were, financial positions that were pretty much in balance. It's going to be a long haul. It takes a while to address the issues.
Particularly when we have our military commitments.
You have a greater military commitment than we do.
Canada is considering pulling some of its troops out of Afghanistan.
Yes.
At the same time, the U.S. is criticized for not having done enough in terms of economic development. How do you think that equation will be played out?
We have been in Afghanistan right from the beginning in a pretty, relative to our economy, pretty significant way. You had the distraction of Iraq. So now you're coming back and putting a very strong focus on Afghanistan. We will be there until 2011. The government has made a strong commitment. We're not going to phase out. We're going to be there full bore, and then the phase out will occur after that. We will continue to be there for economic development purposes. Afghanistan is our #1 recipient of foreign aid. We'll be working with the government and others in Afghanistan in partnership with you and other countries on dealing with governance issues, the corruption that is there. These are issues that we want to continue to be a part of. The military commitment, though, the government has, the Parliament, I should say, this is broader than just the governing party, has made a pretty firm statement. Now, having said that, just to get back to the earlier point in that question, We are increasing the size of our military. We are also increasing the amount of re-equipping of our military that we're doing, and we are doing this under the broad rubric of a multi-year commitment of funds to the military, so they can do long-term planning to be able to achieve a stronger position globally. So we had a trough in our military commitment as it related to global initiatives. We are building now where we can play a stronger role.
On the economic development side, are there specific programs, or is this infrastructure development? Is it schools?
Well, we have three, call them signature projects. One is the refurbishing, rebuilding the Dala Dam, which is a major dam north of Kandahar City, which is important particularly for irrigation. The second is we're building 50 schools. And the third is a countrywide, those schools are mainly in Kandahar as well. The third is a countrywide polio eradication program. And there we're working with the health authorities in Afghanistan. Just a little sidebar here, which some people don't understand. We hear all the negatives of people being killed in Afghanistan and the military strife. In 2001, when the Taliban were beaten, I think it was 7 or 8% of Afghans had access to primary health care. That number today is up around 90%. So there's been a lot of progress, and this polio eradication program is meant to complement that.
Is that work primarily of NGOs, or is it actual government policy?
We will work with NGOs to distribute the vaccine, but it's a program driven by our aid agency.
You're in Atlanta to celebrate the reopening of the Jimmy Carter Museum, and you've met with President Carter. Did you discuss Afghanistan at all with him?
We didn't have a chance to get into a discussion of these, but what we did discuss was the guinea worm project that we have been working. We have $9–10 million has been committed by our aid agency to work with the Carter Center in a partnership to deal with that. And this has been one of the real successes of the Carter Center and their health field activities. And we're delighted to be a part of that. And I had discussions with a number of representatives of the center, and each one of them mentioned how grateful they were to our aid agency for the support we provided.
Would you consider healthcare an important element of economic development?
I think it's critical. It's critical. If you're not healthy, you're not going to be working at your potential. I mean, there's two critical things. One is education and training, and the other is healthcare. You have to have both of those. That has got to be the principal focus of a strong aid program. And the other is food. Food is energy when you get right down to it. Because if you don't have enough food in your stomach, you don't have the energy to go out and do the work that people want you to do. But if you've got food and the education and good health, then those are three very strong components.